Hey guys, and welcome back to Her Revision, the podcast for women who are rewriting the stories that they tell themselves and that the world tells them. And today I wanted to hop into a topic I feel like I haven't really touched on in the capacity that I want to. I talk a lot about grace, and I talk a lot about being kind to yourself and understanding how you have to allow yourself the opportunity to process emotion and be able to, reach conclusions and goals and stuff at the time that is appropriate for you and not on anybody else's timeline. But I also wanted to get a little bit real and a little bit straightforward. There is somebody that's listening to me right now who has this goal, who has this dream that they have been sitting on for a while. And maybe you've never put forth the effort to do it yet. Or maybe you have, but you haven't really given it your all because of whatever reason, or you're hesitant. This episode is for you because I've been in your shoes and I know how it feels, but I want you to hear me and hear me very clearly when I say your time is now, friend. Start now. I realize that I've went through so many phases of my life where I've had different ambitions and goals that I wanted to achieve because I equated success with tangible things. I identified success with quantity and how much you could have and all the places that you could go and, what you could spend. It took me forever to realize that success was measured in the value of fulfillment and purpose. I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what your purpose or your dream is, whether you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an influencer, because let's face it, we are in the world now where that is a full-time job for a lot of people. So I'm not going to pretend like it isn't. Maybe you want to have your own podcast or radio show or be an actress or an act. Whatever your dream is, there's something that you've been sitting on and you haven't pursued it. Maybe you haven't started because you're scared. Maybe you haven't started because you have a lack of funds. Maybe you haven't started because you're not sure if it is really meant for you or if that's what God is telling you to do. But I wanted to create this episode to let you know that you will never know unless you try. You got to stop sitting on your gift and you have to stop sitting on your purpose. Your time is now. It is so many of us that have shied away from starting what we know is our purpose, what we know God has called us to do because we are scared because of challenges that we may have faced or doubts or obstacles. And I got to let you know now, and this is so tough love, but so what? It's going to come. The challenges are going to come. The doubts are going to come. The obstacles are going to come. They build you. Without them, you are just like everyone else. Without your obstacles, without those challenges, without those roadblocks, you are just like everyone else. I am a wholehearted believer that God puts challenges and obstacles in your path because that's what sets you apart from the rest of the pack. 90% of the time, the obstacles that you face and the things that you have to endure in this life are what builds your character. That's what makes you unique. That's what creates your testimony. Without that, you have nothing. Your identity is placed into that. And I know that it sucks to have to go through things to experience the beauty of it all, but I've learned to embrace the hard times because I know that's what I need for my success story. So there is something out there that you are supposed to be doing right now. There is a purpose and a dream that God has given you, a talent that God has placed in your life and allowed you to cultivate that you are not doing anything with. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Your time is now, friend. It took me forever to realize I wanted a podcast. I had done a lot of things and I had a lot of goals that I feel like I thought aligned with my purpose. I thought, well, maybe God is telling me to do this. I've sat on so many skills for so long before I got to this point. I ignored so many signs that I felt like God had given me at certain moments in my life because I was scared. Because I was either scared of failing, or I was feeling like maybe my time has passed. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I need to go to school for more. I was always doubting my ability, even though my doubt and my faith don't correlate. There was no way at all that they can intersect. So I was allowing myself to feel this way, not knowing that God is who God is, and he is greater than any thought, doubt, feeling that I could ever have. Like he is. So there was no room for that. I say this to say so many of us allow time to pass us. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, time does not exist when it comes to what God is capable of. But I also believe that if we allow time to play a factor in our inability to go for what God has placed in our lives, it can be detrimental. What is it that you're supposed to be doing right now? What is it that you're supposed to be pursuing that you're not? I knew that I wanted to speak. I knew that God had given me the gift of speech. It took me forever to learn in what capacity, because I had to go through a lot of trial and error to even reach this point of a podcast. And this is new and this is growing, but I know and I feel certain in the fact that this is my purpose. And after so many years of being scared to put myself out there, being scared to promote myself, being scared to talk about it, or wanting to hide from the fact that this is what God wanted me to do and who he wanted me to be, I'm now fully standing in the fact that this is my time. When I figured out that my time was now, it was an aha moment for me. One of the things that I realized about my purpose is that although God had given me this purpose, although God had given me this dream, it took me many of times to figure out that the issue with me not actually going for the things that I feel like God had been placing in my life is because I had been trying to obtain them in a way that was beneficial to me. I realized that the idea of success that I had, it was all fault. It was very much faulted in the fact that I thought that success was quantifiable. I thought that maybe my purpose and my gift isn't what I think it is because I can't measure it based on how unsuccessful I feel. Like, I don't have all of the money and the fame and I don't have that yet, so maybe this isn't it. I never capitalized off of that moment because I kept trying to measure success in tangible things instead of the value of fulfillment and purpose. God has given you something so profound, so unique to yourself, and you're sitting on it. And I get it. I get that it can be daunting. I get that you're probably scared. I get that you have all these excuses as to why you can't do it. And for many of us, it's not just a matter of, oh, I can't do it because no. Maybe you do have valid reasons why you can't do it. Maybe you don't have a lump sum of money that's going to be able to afford you at least something that you need to start what God is giving you. But if God is giving you a gift, best believe he's going to give you the roadmap for how to make it through the journey for that gift, if that makes sense. A lot of the times we feel like God has given us something, but God, how did you give me a gift and there's no way for me to get it? That's not true. That's not true. God will never give you a gift that he doesn't already have the roadmap for you to obtain it. He will never do that to you. And if you don't see a clear picture for how to pursue said gift, for how to make said purpose or said gift valuable, then you might need to rewind a little bit and come back to the beginning. Because my issue, for instance, when I first knew that my purpose was in my voice, so to speak, I tried to do everything that I could to make it lucrative. I tried to capitalize off of it for monetary gain in so many ways, to the point that I started to think, well, if I'm not making money off of this can't be it. It's not true. I want you to realize that God has given you a purpose. And friend, I don't know what your purpose is. I don't know if it's to be in school, to be a doctor or a lawyer, or maybe you want to be in the film industry, or you want to be an influencer. Whatever your purpose is, God has implanted it into you, but he also wants you to meet him halfway. How great is it that we have a God that is able to give us a gift, but then we pout and we gripe because how you gonna give me something and I don't know what to do with it? That's us. I never wanted to do the hard work. I never wanted to have to figure it out. Like, God, if you're going to give me something, please give me I need a step by step. I need a step by step. But the reality of it is, I am so grateful that I am where I am now and on it at this point of my purpose journey, because I learned so much prior to getting here. There were so many things that I failed and obstacles that I had to go through before I got here. And if your reason for not expounding on whatever your purpose is or your goal is because you're scared, is because you failed too many times, is because you don't think that it's bringing you money, or God, this isn't doing it for me, your blessing is almost here. I'm not a prophet. I can't tell you that it's coming tomorrow, but I know that God is a God of favor. And sometimes all he needs to see is effort, is that you're trying. This is my effort. What I'm doing now and what God has put into me and this purpose that he has given me, I know that maybe I'm clueless as to how it's going to turn out. I am very much clueless over the outcome, but I am trusting the process because I know that there's beauty on the other side of this. So I urge you to start. And if it makes you feel better, and I know a lot of the times I've heard, just do it, just start. But my advice to you is, if you have a goal, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to start on this day, make sure that you have achievable actions. Maybe you want to break into some certain job field, but you know that you have to be certified or have certain skills that you don't have, credentials that you need to have to get there. That looks like, okay, I need to pay for this class so I can get certified. I know that I don't have all the money for it, so I'm going to set aside $40 every check. That means by August 12th of this date, I'm going to have it to pay. Don't just say, oh, by the end of this year, No, that doesn't work. I know that every time I put out a podcast episode, by the end of this season, I've told myself that I'm going to have X amount of followers and I'm going to have X amount of downloads. And in order for me to do so, I know I'm going to have to promote, which means that I'm going to have to put out this many snippets of this episode on social media. I'm going to have to make sure I promote on my Instagram page. I'm making achievable goals because that is showing God that I am stewarding well over the purpose he has given me. God has given you something. Do not let it go. You only have one life. You have one life. And although I know that at the end, when everything is said and done, I only want to be next to my Creator. But I also realize that I want to make the most out of what he has given me here so he can say, job well done. There's something. What is your purpose? How are you going to work on your purpose? How are you going to make your purpose flourish while you are still here? I want you to start now. I want you to get real about it. I want you to lock in. I want you to know that it's your time. No matter what your circumstances may look like, you can do it. Pray to him. Ask him to show you ways, cold, hard ways for you to get to where he wants you to be. You can't do it without him, so you might as well put him in the middle of it. I don't know what's going to take for you to specifically, for whatever your goal may be, for you to get there. But I do know that setting achievable goals and being able to push yourself and me telling you that you got to get up and you got to do it. You got to get up and you got to do it. You can't sit around waiting on success and fulfillment to find you because it won't. Success is identifiable, but you have to be the one to give it identity. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to follow your dreams today? How are you going to start to fulfill the purpose that God has given you? I want you to get up. I want you to start. And I want you to tell me how it goes. I want you to tell me what your purpose is. Or if you need help brainstorming, I am here for all of you guys because I feel like if anything, we need community. A lot of the times it's about having good community around you. And you can find that anywhere, honestly. I hope this episode brought you some type of motivation or inspiration to just get up and start. Because your blessing is on the other side of your obedience. So be obedient, friend. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, rate the podcast, please, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go and give it a thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching from there. Until next time, bye.